Om Bhurabhuvah Svah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. Namaste, my dear friends. I am going to talk about the subtle message Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi used to give to the devotees. He used to talk very less. His talk was limited to few words or sentences, but the message carried by his words and sentences were great. There used to be a hidden, subtle message to be understood by the devotees by using their wisdom, by using their power of discrimination. So one day around morning 10 o'clock, just as Bhagwan was getting up to go for his usual short mid-morning walk, a young Andhraite man approached the couch and said, "Swami, I have come here because I want to perform tapas, austerities, and don't know what would be a good place for it. I'll go for the purpose wherever you tell me." Bhagwan did not answer. He was stooping down, rubbing his legs and knees as he often does before beginning to walk on account of the rheumatism in them, and was smiling quietly to himself. We, of course, were waiting eagerly for what he would say. A moment later, he took the staff that he uses to steady himself in walking, and looking at the young man said, "How can I tell you where to stay? It is best to stay where you are." And with a smile he went out. The young man was bewildered. "What is the meaning of this?" he exclaimed. Being an elderly person, I thought he would tell me some holy place where I could stay, but instead of that, he tells me to stay where I am. I am now near this couch. Does that mean that I should stay here? Was it to receive such a reply that I approached him? Is this a matter for joking? One of the devotees took him out of the hall and explained, "Even when Bhagwan says something in a light vein, there is always some deep meaning in it. Where the feeling I arises is one's self. Tapas means knowing where the self is and abiding there. For that one has to know who one is, and what then does it matter where one stays? That is what he meant. He thus pacified the young man and sent him away. Similarly, someone asked yesterday, Swami, how can we find the Atma? You are in the Atma, so how can there be any difficulty in finding it? Bhagwan replied, you say that I am in the Atma, but where exactly is that Atma? The questioner persisted. If you abide in the heart and search patiently, you will find it. The questioner still seemed unsatisfied and made the rather curious objection that there was no room in his heart for him to stay in it. Bhagwan turned to one of the devotees sitting there and said, smiling, look how he worries about where Atma is. What can I tell him? What is Atma? It is all pervading. When I tell him that it is called heart, he says there is no room in it for him to stay. What can I do? To say that there is no room in the heart after filling it full of vasanas, inherent tendencies and cravings, is like grumbling that there is no room to sit down in a house as big as Ceylon. If all the junk is thrown out, won't there be room? The body itself is junk. These people are like someone who fills all the rooms of his house chock full of junk which is not necessary for his body, and then complains that there is no room for his body in it. In the same way, they fill the mind with all sorts of vasanas, and then they say there is no room for the self in it. If all the vasanas are swept away and thrown out, there will be plenty of room and it will all be Atma. Then there will be no such thing as a separate I. So what need then for room? Or who would occupy the room? Instead of seeking the self, they say no room, no room. Just like shutting your eyes and saying there is no sun. What can be done? So, in these two incidents, a very, very subtle and hidden message is there. See, Bhagwan told the young man in the first instant that you be where you are. This is a very, very important statement. See, Bhagwan meant by telling the young man, be where you are, means you pay full attention to your Atma that is residing in the spiritual heart. Because when you, here you is indicative of the ego, make sure. When thoughts arise from the Atma and they move outward, these thoughts in continuity constitute the mind and ego, because ego is the modification of the mind. Whether it is mind or ego or intellect or Maya, When they are moving away from the Atma, means they are moving from the divinity. They are moving from peace and bliss. They are moving away from the positive energy. So, these outwardly moving thoughts, mind and ego, they are going to the world. Now, these thoughts, mind and ego will acquire lot of negative energy, which is completely opposite the positive energy attached with the Atma. So, meaning of saying be where you are, that means do not allow your mind and ego move outwardly away from the divinity, away from the Atma, because you will acquire negative energy which is very harmful in your path of or in your sadhana. Devotees who are aspiring to achieve self-realization and liberation, so they have to keep their mind and ego and intellect and vasanas and maya confined to the spiritual heart in the vicinity of Atma. Because in spiritual heart, in the vicinity of Atma, there is a divinity. Your mind will become pure. That means it will be just like Atma only. Same way, your false I, the root thought, that is the thought which is when the I identify with the body. So, be where you are means be in the spiritual heart. Whom this be? Because this is the instruction for our ego, instruction for our mind, instruction for our intellect and the Maya. So this is a very, very subtle message for that young man Maharshi had given. The young man took it as a joke, but Maharshi meant a great message to be imparted to that young man, that my dear young man, keep your mind, ego, maya, intellect attached with the Atma in the spiritual heart. This way, your sadhana will progress in a successful manner, in a positive manner. So this is that was the way Maharshi used to impart very, very important teachings in very subtle and secret sentences. So, dear friends, this message was not only for that young man, that message is very much valid for us also. because physically Bhagwan has gone long back in 1950, but his existence is very much there. Because Bhagwan was not the body, Bhagwan was the pure Atma. And Atma is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, wherever you are on the surface of on this earth, in any country, any corner of the world, you will receive the message of Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi. Do not think that he is not there. Body as it is, if at all he says is living, his body is insentient. That is the Atma. That is sentient when his body existing, and after leaving the body also, Atma is only sentient. So take it granted. Have faith in you. Have faith in Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi. You will receive his grace. Your Atma and Arunachala Ramana, they are not different. This is the mistake we are all committing. Because we think Maharshi has left this world in 14th April 1950. No, my dear, he had not left. He is still existing. He is not only existing in Tiruvannamalai, he is existing very much near you. But have the faith. Just create this belief in you that you are in the grace, you are receiving the grace, but you are not able to know it because due to ignorance, due to our self motivated beliefs that Bhagwan had left this body long back. No. See, Bhagwan means Atma. Atma means omnipotency, omniscient, omnipresent. So feel, believe that Bhagwan is near you. Feel it. Feel it. Bhagwan is existing very much in your spiritual heart in the form of your own Atma. Because Atma of everybody is nothing but the positive energy, divine energy. So, dear friends, a very small sentence and such a great message imparted. So, this was the way Bhagwan used to impart very, very important teachings in subtle forms, in subtle sentences and secret. So, my dear friends, this is the message imparted by Bhagwan to the young man and equally for us all. So, thank you for listening and watching this video. Please like, share and comment the video and subscribe my channel. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank